afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for our first annual Water Safety Day at the Hopkinsville Family YMCA. Due to the coronavirus, we have decided to make this event today a virtual event. Here at the YMCA, water safety is top priority to us for all our families. My name is Kristen Lilly, Aquatics Operations Manager. Over here to my left is Jared Headland. He's our Assistant Aquatics Manager. And with us today, you'll see Alex Curling, who is doing some demonstrations with us, who is also a veteran lifeguard. We are so excited to be able to share facts and some demonstrations with you today on how to help keep your family safe around water. A little fun facts or a little information about the Y. The Y is one of the nation's leading nonprofits strengthening communities through youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. Across the U.S., 2,700 Ys engage 22 million men, women, and children, regardless of any age, income, or background, to nurture the potential of children and teens, improve the nation's health and well-being, and provide the opportunities to give back and support neighbors. Anchored in more than 10,000 communities, the Y has the longest standing relationships and physical presence, not just to promise, but to deliver lasting personal and social change. The Y introduced the concept of group swim lessons in 1909. Now, each year in more than 2,000 pools across the country, the Y teaches more than 1 million children from all backgrounds invaluable water safety and swim skills. Here in Hopkinsville, the Y teaches over 200 children water safety and swimming each year. Through safety around the water, the Y hopes to further bridge cultural and access gaps that can prevent some children from learning important water safety skills. And some tips we want to go over today for water safety. They're so important to us here at the YMCA, for our community, for our members, and just for anyone who is within our area that we feel need to be stressed and talked about. Sometimes they're not fun, but we need to understand what we can do to help prevent some of these things from happening. Drowning is the second leading cause of death for children ages 5 to 14. With children from communities of lower income are at greater risk. The importance of equipping children with essential water safety skills. The Y offers swim lessons, a program that helps reduce the risk of childhood drowning, develop a lifelong love for swimming, and provide children from underserved communities greater access to water safety programs. And some things you need to remember before letting your children hit the water this summer. Remember these few tips to ensure it's an enjoyable and safe experience. Never swim alone. No one should ever be in a pool or outside around the pool that are under a certain age should ever swim by themselves. Supervise your children whenever they're in the water. Never look at your phones, don't read a book. You need to make sure they're always in your eyes view. Whether it's in a bath time or taking a dip in the pool, you're in the lake, and make sure your children are within reach at all times. You don't need to be where you're at a distance. You need to be able to grab them up out of the water. Don't allow your children to engage in breath-holding activities. Children shouldn't hold their breath for a prolonged amount of time while swimming, as this can cause drowning and has several other severe physical side effects. You should always wear a life jacket if you, for instance, are an inexperienced swimmer. They should always be Coast Guard approved, and that is something Jared will discuss with us in just a little while. You should never jump in the water to save a friend who is struggling in deep water. If a child finds a friend in deep water and unexpectedly, their natural reaction may be to jump in the water and try to save them. Even if a child is a great swimmer, a panicked person will overpower them, pulling them underwater with them. The Y Safety Around Water program teaches the reach, throw, and don't go concept, using a long object to reach for them and pull them to safety. By using this technique, children can help their friends without compromising their own safety. And now Jared and Alex are going to do a demonstration for you guys on the reach, throw, and don't go.
Just a reminder, reach, throw, don't go. In this demonstration, I'm going to be reaching to Alex. Make sure you get low and support yourself on something by telling them, here, grab this, and pulling them directly towards you. Okay. Make sure you get low, support yourself, throw the buoy out to the person, and pull them in.
There's some other things you need to do to learn water safety. We've talked about swim lessons. So here at the YMCA, you can enroll your children in water safety swim lessons, just like teaching your children to look both ways before they cross the street. Participating in formal water safety lessons teaches them to improve life skills. The Wise Swim Lessons teaches children fundamental water safety skills and what to do if they find themselves in water unexpectedly. Learning how to swim also has multiple benefits beyond the ability to enjoy water safety. It helps children strive for physical achievement, promotes healthy living, and builds their confidence. To find out how to enroll your children at the Hopkinsville YMCA for swim lessons, you can visit our website at www.hopkinsvilleymca.org. 71% of our world is water. Children are 100% curious. Research shows that participation in formal water safety and swim lessons can reduce the risk of drowning among children 1 to 4 years of age. Help your child feel safe in and around the water. Did you know that 2 kids drown every day nationwide?
Drowning poses a threat to health and well-being, particularly to children and those in low-income communities. Learning basic self-rescue skills can save lives while also introducing children to new forms of physical activities needed for a healthy lifestyle. 88% of children who drown do so under adult supervision. We have a short testimony from one of our staff members, Amanda.
Hi, my name is Amanda Crutchfield. My husband is Tim Crutchfield, and we have 4 children. Madison, who's 13, Mackenzie, who's 9, Connor, who's 7, and Colin, who is 6. On October 6th of last year, we took a family vacation to Florida. And much like many people, when you get to Florida, you're excited to get to the beach. And we set our stuff down, switched into our bathing suits, and went straight down to the ocean. We're playing about 30 minutes, and there's riptide warning. The waves were kind of rough, and it was making me really nervous as a mom. So I was like, hey, let's go up to the pool. We went up to the pool. The kids really didn't want to leave, and they're like, let's have pizza by the pool. So I'm like, okay. My husband had ran into the lobby to go to the restroom, and I pick up my phone to call and order a pizza. All 4 of my kids are in the kiddie pool right in front of me that's only 0 entry to 3 foot deep. They're all playing and swimming together, and I'm ordering a pizza, and I'm on hold, and I'm looking around, but I'm not watching them, so to speak. And my husband comes out from the lobby, and he says, where are the boys? And I kind of scan around, not panicking at all. My kids have grown up in the pool. They've grown up swimming. They've gone to the beach. They've been here at the Y. They've been to Tiebreaker and Venture River 95% of the summer. So not panicking at all. I look around, and I was like, I don't know. So I stand up and look around, and I still don't see the boys. And again, I'm not in a panic, that they're somewhere. So I go over to my girls who are still in the kiddie pool, and I'm like, hey, Madison, have you seen the boys? And she says, no. Mackenzie, have you seen the boys? No. Well, about that time, I spot Connor over on the Lazy River, which is on the other side of the resort. And so I go over and I wait for him to make a loop around. And as he makes a loop around, I'm like, hey, Connor, have you seen Colin? And he says, yes, and he points over. And he points towards the hot tub. So I'm like, oh, he must be in the hot tub. He was asking to get into the hot tub before I ordered pizza. So I go over to the hot tub, and he's not there. Then my heart kind of sunk. I'm thinking to myself, he went back down to the beach without us. And as I go to turn to look at the beach, I could see him across the Lazy River laying in the bottom of the pool. Of course, instant freak out, screaming 911, screaming, get help. I threw my phone and jumped in the pool and pulled him up. Working here at the YMCA, at the time I had also been a manager at Tiebreaker. I was a teacher. I'm certified in first aid. I'm certified in CPR. So we go to lay him down, and by the grace of God, there was also a firefighter who was on the Lazy River, which is where he was found in the bottom of. And he comes over and starts performing CPR, because as a mom, even though I'm completely certified, I'm freaking out in the situation. I'm trying to get my kids away. I'm trying to get my husband's attention. And what felt like a lifetime probably really wasn't that long at all. But he does wake up. But when I took him out of the bottom of the pool, he was blue, and no heartbeat. He was cold. They were able to revive him, but right away he would not throw up. So his lungs were full of water. by the time my husband picked him up and got to the end of the pool, the ambulance was there. And they took him inland to a hospital with a pediatric ICU, where they kept him in ICU overnight. I came back to the hotel that night to be with my other children while my husband stayed with him, and I had to meet with the security guards and police officers, obviously, to do a report. And we met several times over the course of the week to talk about the story and what had happened and to get a checkup on Colin. And I think it was 3 days after his accident when I met with the manager, and they had put together a video of what had happened, and they had wrote out their report of what had happened. And from the moment I walked in there, I blamed myself. And I think it's because a lot of people had said, is it the hotel's fault? Whose fault is it? And I always felt like it was my fault. But the manager at the hotel had said, we watched the video footage, and literally from the moment you picked up your phone until you went looking for him was 45 seconds. 45 seconds is a text message. 45 minutes is a short conversation with one of your kids. 45 seconds is a short conversation with a friend at the pool. They said that when I started looking for him is when he went under, but he went under so fast, even though I was looking for him, I could not see him. He walked down 2 steps, and it was a lazy river, and it pulled him under, and he was never able to come back up. And this wasn't water that went over his head. This was simply water that was moving, and it pulled him under, and he never could catch footing again. 45 seconds is all it was that he was under. And I did find him. They said it was about 2 minutes and 4 seconds. But again, I didn't see him because he was already under the water. Colin was luckily released from the ICU. The next day, he asked to go to Pineapple Willie's, and our plans were to leave the next morning when we woke up. We had only been at the beach for 30 minutes, but this was a horrific accident. We got up the next morning, and him and his brother had gone out on the balcony. And I said, "Colin, are you ready to go home?" And he said, "No, I want to go to the beach." And I never wanted to scare him away from the water. I was terrified. My husband was terrified. My oldest daughter was terrified. But if he wanted to go to the beach, I wanted him to go to the beach. So we got our bags together and we went down to the beach. And he dug in the sand for about 30 minutes. He fell asleep. He never got in the water. So my husband took him up to the room, and I took the other kids to the pool. A little bit later, after he woke up around lunchtime or so, they came down, and Colin went and got his float, and he walked directly into the pool. And my husband was very hesitant. He didn't want him to get in the pool. It was very traumatic for him. It was traumatic for me. I'm the one that found him. But from working here at the Y, from working at Tiebreaker, I didn't want it to be where he never wanted to get in the water again. So we ended up staying at the beach the rest of the week, and every single day he got in the pool. We never let him get in without one of us. If my husband had to go to the restroom, he took him with him. He got in the hot tub, he got in the pool. Now, he did not get back in the lazy river. He got in the ocean. We encouraged him, and we wanted him to get in the water. And I feel like that's so important. We could have been scared, and we could have not let him get back in the water, but that could have scarred him for the rest of his life where he doesn't want to. And he remembers. We give him a bath and put water over his head, and he does get scared. And I just always try to reassure him. But with the summer season upon us, I have every intention of getting him back in the water, and Lord willing, taking swimming lessons here at the Y, so he is comfortable with the water and he learns how to swim. But I never want him to be scared, and I'm so thankful that he survived this accident. It was very scary, but I feel like it's important now to teach him how to be safe in the water so he can still enjoy the water.
Thank you, Amanda, for your testimony. And we're so grateful that your story had a happy ending. Unfortunately, it's not like that in most cases. Most of these tragic deaths are preventable. Drowning prevention is a YMCA national priority, both in preventing deaths and ensuring that all children experience the confidence that comes with being able to swim.
Jared and Alex are now going to do a demo for you guys. and then we'll learn a little bit more about how to prevent some drownings if you were to fall in the water or be around the water by yourself. Did you know that 60% of kids who drown do so under adult supervision? Once again, we're going to show some more demos today. There's going to be several going on, so we will go and watch Alex. There's going to be several things showing how to float on your back, how to float on your stomach.
When teaching your child to float on their back, make sure they get comfortable with their ears under the water. Have their knees slightly bent and arms out like an airplane. Remember to breathe. Floating on your stomach is similar. Make sure that your knees are slightly bent and head is above the water. Your arms out like an airplane, and remember to breathe.
Go back to some more demos once we talk about some more fun tips. I don't want to say fun, but some tips that we can learn. Many parents ask how young they should enroll their children in swim lessons. It is recommended that babies under the age of 6 months should not be enrolled in swim lessons. While you wait, we suggest that you and your child begin acclimating to the water at home by learning how to blow bubbles, pouring water on their faces during bath time, and making sure the experiences around water are overall positive. Jared is now going to talk to us about how you can teach your children how to blow bubbles.
Another way to stay positive in reassuring them that they are able to breathe even above water is by blowing bubbles. Now, making sure that their mouth is at level with the water, blowing out with their mouth and exaggerating their nose up in the air, showing that they can breathe in and blow out in the water.
One other important fact that we would like to discuss is how to use sunscreen properly. Most people only apply 25 to 50% of the recommended amount of sunscreen, and it needs to be applied about every 2 hours. Your skin needs to be dry and applied at least 15 minutes prior to sun exposure for it to be effective. SPF 30 blocks 90% of the sun's rays. Higher SPF sunscreen lasts the same amount of time as lower SPF sunscreen for about 2 hours. No sunscreen can block 100% of the sun rays. There are 2 water resistance ratings for sunscreen that a lot of people don't have any idea about. Water resistance is effective for up to 40 minutes in the water. Very water resistance is effective for about 80 minutes in the water. Now, Jerry's going to discuss with us about some home pool safety facts that we need to learn when we have a pool at home, or we may be in a grandparent's house or somewhere visiting.
Absolutely. Completely surrounding your pool with 4-sided isolated fencing and self-latching gates that latch higher than your child can reach is an easy way to ensure that your child does not go outside without adult supervision. A 4-sided gate versus a 3-sided gate reduces your child's risk of drowning by 83% compared to a 3-sided property line fencing. Above ground pools, make sure you secure, lock, or remove steps, ladders, or anything that the child can use as access to get into the pool at any time that is not in use. Install door alarms, something that you can use to lock your child away from your pool and tell you if the child is trying to get into the pool. Another thing you should understand is when you should call 911. We say that you should call 911 if there is not an adult present or someone who is not capable of administering the aid that is needed. And what to tell the 911 operator? You need to tell them exactly where you are, what is happening, and you need to make sure you stay on the line.
Have someone ready to support the victim if anything is to arise.
Some other things we want to talk about today is how to keep yourself safe around the pool. So those are some things that Jerry's going to add in here. As you can see, we're standing at the YMCA pool, and there's a lot of things that we look for before we open our pool every day during our shifts and while we're out here guarding and making sure our family stays safe. So as Jerry goes over those, we'll learn about how to keep yourself safe around the water, either a community pool or at your house or at a grandparent's house.
Now, some easy things to understand is, again, never swimming without adult supervision or a lifeguard on duty. We've got some grates here in the YMCA pool that we would like for you not to put your hands, fingers, or toes into the openings because they have very powerful suction. We ask that you don't jump on them either because we don't want them breaking and you falling deeper into the pool. Another tip you should understand when swimming in a YMCA pool is that we only approve of life jackets with the U.S. Coast Guard approval. Some of these life jackets are going to be puddle jumpers, or some of these are going to be your zip-ups. Now with the puddle jumpers, we only allow those that do not detach from our arm bubbles and those that wrap around the child entirely. Another one we approve of is the zip-up classic life jacket. These are going to be what we allow in our YMCA pool and what are probably best for your child.
Another fact about life jackets is so many people want to buy your least expensive life jackets, and that is not always going to keep you safe in the water, especially if you're at the lake or you're in the ocean. It's so important to buy the U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets, whether you're in a pool or just swimming around in your backyard in just a little outdoor pool. It's just so important to have the correct items that you need to keep your children safe at all times.
Another thing we understand is boat safety. One thing you should do when you're driving or riding in a boat, you should always wear your proper water gear. Never overload your boat, and do not drive your boat without the proper lighting at night.
We will be posting some fun water safety activities over the month that your children can do at home. Don't forget to look for those. We'll have some coloring books, some fun activities, some crossword puzzles, and some fun facts. We have a family pledge that we would like all of our families to read with your children and commit to doing. Once your family has committed, in the comments, please put, "Our family pledges to be safe around water." Parents, we are asking that each one of you commit to being a water watcher. Once you agree to being a water watcher for your child's safety, please comment, "I agree to be a water watcher." Thank you again for joining us today for our virtual Water Safety Day. We hope that your family has a wonderful summer and that we see you soon. Just remember, stay safe always around water.